The truth is that you can launch a crypto token within 10 minutes. There are multiple platforms out there right now that require no technical expertise if you want to launch a crypto token. The most popular probably being Pump Fund. You don't need to know anything about blockchain technology to go and launch a token. You can just go and launch one. But with this infrastructure and with the ease of access that now we have in crypto, how easy it is to launch a token, anyone can go and do it. And that's why millions of tokens this year alone have been launched. But there's one key difference. If you want to build a crypto project, it's not about whether you know how to launch a crypto token anymore. It's whether you know how to grow a crypto token. And that's what I want to get into in this video. You can go and launch your own token in the next 10 minutes. And you can do that without any code, like I mentioned. You can do that with probably no instruction if you just go to the right platform. Or you can watch a YouTube video. Here's how to launch a token. Very, very simple stuff. But what these people will not share with you is how you actually turn that token into a success, how you turn that token into a long-lasting project, because 99% of projects, they stall after the token launch. And for the last 3 years, it's been my day job to not just help projects launch, but also grow tokens via Magnet, which is Web3's growth engine. We put so much time and effort into understanding the game in this industry. What separates the 1% of tokens that succeed to the 99% that do not? And this video is all about sharing some of our top tips for you guys who are thinking about launching your own token. And why I'm doing this? Well, 1.8 million tokens have already died in 2025. Over 80% of tokens from the previous cycle, 2017 to 2021, have died or become illiquid or been abandoned since. And I don't want you to make the mistakes if you're coming into this space and you're launching. So lock yourself in for the next 5 or 10 minutes, because I'm going to drop some stuff with you that you might not have heard elsewhere. And I really hope that it's going to be helpful for you and your project. Okay, so the first thing is having a good launch, right? This is the foundation. How you start determines how you go from there. And there's a few things that I want to mention in terms of having a good launch. The first thing is that you need to have the right supply. Unfortunately, if you just go and launch 100% of your supply on the market and someone can come in and acquire 10% of your supply for $1,000 because your market cap is so low and your liquidity is so low when you launch a token, if you do it in a fairer launch style, then you're kind of almost ruining your future growth, because someone's going to have 10% of supply just to sell into any bit of strength that you manage to generate moving forward. This is why a lot of bigger launches, they vest their tokens over a period of time. They might only unlock, say, 10% of token supply on their initial launch. So what this means is that of, say, 1 billion tokens, only 100 million tokens are available to trade when the launch occurs. And the rest of the tokens will come into the market over the next 3, 4, 5 years based on the vesting. This means someone can't just come in and grab 10% of supply. They also launch at a higher FDV, which means if someone did want to come in and say grab 1% supply, it could cost them hundreds of thousands, if not millions. So you're putting that barrier up to prevent people from coming in and taking a huge hold in your market. So that's the first thing. Making sure that you're not giving too much supply away to individuals. You're not making it too cheap for someone to come and take a real stake in your project. You want people to come and buy in, but you want what we call good token distribution. You would rather have, say, 100 people that between them own 1% of supply than one person that owns 1% of supply, because all of those 100 people would need to go and sell at the same time for them to bring a huge selling pressure to your market, instead of just one person that could just click and literally just dump 1% of supply on your market. So the second part here of getting a good launch is making sure that you achieve good token distribution. And sometimes you will get people that come in heavy and they might acquire 1% of supply, 2% of supply. But if you keep the momentum up in the chart, these people will slowly just get out. And by doing that, they're rotating, right? They're rotating the tokens into hands of smaller holders, which creates better token distribution. So for your first 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks of your project, you need to be really focused on helping yourself gather good token distribution. And that is pretty much how you can do it. Keep the momentum going. People will drop out And then over time, it will start to switch hands, the supply. And obviously, if you've got the right launch, you haven't given anyone a huge bag, like a 3, 4, 5 upwards % bag, then you're going to be able to do that more easily and then just play the game moving forward. Because after all, a chart can't always go up. That's not healthy, right? It might go up on the launch. Some people sell off a little bit. It comes down a little bit. Then you kick the momentum up. People come and buy in at those new lows. And that's how you start in a good way. There's a few other factors to do with having a good launch as well. I can't cover them all on this video. If you want me to dive into this more, I'm happy to do a video on itself on a good launch. Happy to do that. But a couple of other things, I would always say initial buying pressure is really important. So getting your own cabal together, getting a group of individuals that are going to come in and participate when the token's live and trading is very important. So creating a inner circle group on Telegram, letting these people know when the token is live so they can come in and participate. Ideally, these people being friendly to you so that they're not going to take the mick and go and buy a 2, 3, 4, 5% bag and go and dump it. This is important. If you can have like a loyal 20, 30, 40 people that all come in and buy a $500 bag or something like that, it's going to really help your chart get off the ground. And what this is going to do, it's going to get it organically trending on platforms like Dex Screener, Dex Calls, and so on. So that's a really important point as well when it comes to a good launch. And the last point is market making. A lot of smaller projects will use market making bots. You don't want to just completely wash your volume. The space is too smart now. They can see through it. If you're a 500K market cap coin, you've got $50 million in trading volume. That's not what I'm on about here, but a market needs to be made in the right way. If you do have a proactive market maker, that's always going to be a benefit to you because they can really manage that market. But either way, good market making is important. And again, I can create a whole video on that if you feel like that's needed. But the point here is just to get your mind thinking of different things that you need to think about when launching a token. Point number 2 here is protecting your supply. This is so important. I see countless projects go and launch a token and they think the next best logical thing is to start dishing out 1%, 2% here and there to big KOLs to go and promote the token. You could end up giving 5, 10% of your supply away, and then after a week or two, these KOLs don't care about the project and they slowly start dumping it. Then you've got to go and find somewhere the momentum to go and buy 5, 10% of supply. You've got to go and find buyers to switch hands with. I've seen it countless times where projects think that, well, we'll just give tokens away for marketing. It's stupidity. All it's going to cause is huge selling pressure. And although you just printed this token and that's the easiest way that you can go and kind of get awareness by using that and paying for things like KOLs with your token, all it's going to do is get dumped on the market eventually. And you're going to have to go and find the buying pressure to fulfill that, right? It's simple supply and demand. So what I would always say to projects is protect your supply massively, because that's the only risk in your chart going down, is if that supply is held by big holders or KOLs or being paid for different things or given to advisors or whatever it might be. That is so, so important. Protect your supply, because if you don't, it's just going to come and bite you back in the ass later on. You're going to be put under a lot of pressure because these people could just openly sell huge chunks of supply on the market, and you got to go and try and work out how you fulfill that in some way. My opinion here is protect your supply and don't just dish it out, even if it feels like it's a good idea, because you don't have to go and spend $20,000 on awareness. You can just give your supply out. You're going to give $20,000 back to them because they're going to dump it into the liquidity pool. Be logical, protect your supply. The next point is post-launch strategy. This to me is going to be the biggest theme of the next cycle, because way too often in crypto, we focus on the best pre-TG strategies, creating as much hype and speculation as possible around a token launch. And once a token launch happens, everything quiets down. Momentum stops. All of the efforts, energy, resources of the project were put into trying to get this thing off the ground. The better strategy here is do your pre-launch, get a good launch under control, then start your momentum. People are going to be so much more impressed with you if you get off, you have a little good launch, and then you start amping up that awareness. You start amping up the number of token holders, the buying pressure coming into the market. That is what real success looks like in crypto, not just having a really spoken about launch and then you launch and everything just dies and you just see red candles coming into your chart. Put a lot of time into your post-launch strategy. My opinion is you're going to spend $10,000 on your pre-launch and your launch. then you should be spending $30, $40, $50,000 on your post launch to really nurture a good chart, because your chart is your best marketing tool in crypto. And way too many people just spend all of their resources before they even have a chart, and then trying to get that launch off the ground, and then ultimately ends up not being as successful, because after launch they have nothing. They have no momentum, they have no plan, they have no strategy, they have no post-launch development in place. So yes, please, if you're building in crypto, put more attention on your post-launch. Don't just launch and then figure that out. Make sure you have a plan and you know how you're going to get that from 100K market cap up to 10 million. The next point, conversion. So often I see projects that have 80,000 community members on Telegram, 50,000 followers on X, and then they have 500 token holders. They don't understand the art of being able to convert interest in community members into token holders. And this is one of the most important acquisitions in crypto, because this is going to take those individuals that are in your community and give them an invested interest in your project, because they're going to own tokens and they're going to benefit from the success or failure of your project. So my opinion here is that you need to become really good at building a conversion strategy, turning community members into token holders. That should be a key focus of yours each week. We've had 500 new community members. How many new token holders did we get to come in? How many people did we get to take a stake in this project? You need to really focus on that and work on acquisition funnels that are going to enable you to actually convert community interest into token holders. The next point, the token flywheel. So when I talk about token flywheel, I'm talking about real utility, staking, rewards. You're giving people a reason to hold and not dump your token. If you're simply just trying to get people to come and speculate and generate hype around vaporware, the technology that you built or haven't built yet that no one's really going to use, there's no reason for someone to use your token within that product. There's no reason for someone to hold. They don't receive any benefits from holding your token. You don't have a token flywheel, and you're just going to get selling pressure at some point in the future. So being able to paint a really strong story that people buy into is of course very important. But being able to have a flywheel that continues to keep people to stay as holders, even more important. Give them a reason as to why they need to hold. Whether it is stake and rewards, where they have to lock up their tokens and they get a reward. Whether it's a revenue share from your platform that goes back to holders, so they want to hold because they're receiving benefits. Whether it's really good buying pressure mechanics in place where there's always new volume coming into your market and people want to hold out because they know that the success of your protocol is indicating the success of the amount of buying pressure coming in, and therefore it's indicating that the token could continue going up in price. Very important. Or just having super solid token utility where there's buying pressure coming in to that token because people need to buy it to use it for things. Give people a reason to hold because of the belief that's backed up by the actual usage of the token and also what they get from holding the token. So they're my reasons for this video. I could create probably a 2-hour video on everything to be careful of here. It's what we do every day. It's what I've been doing every single day for the last 3 years. And you learn a lot from helping projects launch and grow in this space about what to do and what not to do. If you are someone that is launching a crypto project and you want a bit more insight, you want something that's maybe more personalized to your project, then if you go to growwithmag.net, we have a free strategy session call, which you can book onto. And you'll speak to a member of our team, one of our growth hackers, and they will endeavor to provide a solution, something that's tailored to your specific project. So if you're building in the space, go and check that out. Go and take advantage of that free value. And the last thing I want to leave you here with is what I see people get wrong the most. The first one I already mentioned, overpaying for influencers that just don't bring the ROI and giving people too much supply that's just going to be dumped on the market. The second one is just chasing hype and speculation forever and never building sustainability into your token mechanics. And the third one is forgetting the flywheel, why people have a reason to hold, why people have a reason to continue coming to buy your token. If you don't have these things in place, you're never going to have sustainability. You might have some really good periods on your chart and on your token that just come from really good and smart marketing that generates hype and speculation. But those people are going to eventually sell their bags and that's all going to die off anyway. So really get to the root of building sustainability for your token. And of course, if you like this sort of content, learning about launching projects in this space, growing projects in this space, everything the business side of crypto, then drop me a subscribe. I bring videos, a few every single week on this type of the industry. I don't think that people talk about this enough. Everyone talks about buy this token, do this, trade this, do that. No one talks about the business side of crypto. And there's a reason for that. And that's the reason that I'm trying to create this channel and obviously explain this more publicly. I appreciate you watching. If you've made it this far, I hope to see you on some more videos in the future.